Hey y'all, it is El Cid. It is finally happening. I am starting my channel, as many of you have requested, to give my insight on various things, including dating shows. And the current dating show that I am excited about, I know I am 4 seasons late, but it is Love is Blind Brazil Season 4. So, for today's episode, I am going to discuss episodes 1 and 2. The first four already dropped on Netflix. And to say it's exciting is just, very, very chill. It is very exciting. What I do like about Love is Blind Brazil is that most of the people here are divorced, separated, nearly married. Many of them have kids. So it's a whole different dynamic than I'm used to in watching the American dating shows where typically single individuals, do not have children who come on these shows. So the cast is completely diverse in personalities, in ethnic, makeup. I just absolutely love it. I love it. Um, even the English, the people who are doing the English voiceovers, their voices are even like, very colorful. It's awesome. So, the first person we see is Gabriel, and he wants a family. He went and got therapy to help him, change his self image because you realize that the bullying he received in school was actually affecting him in his life. And I really like that for him. One of the ladies said she is not waiting to be picked. She is going to be doing the picking now. I love that about her. Marcia, 34, has vitiligo and has an autistic daughter. She has been engaged before. I think she said twice before, but she had her daughter in a situationship. I like Marcia. I liked her energy, and I have to do full disclosure. My very best friend, who has known me since single digit ages, she has vitiligo. So I was so excited to see there's vitiligo representation on the screen. Um, then we have Marilia. She has said she got cheated on, and this is her third chance at love. I'm not sure about that, but at least she has an open mind and an open heart. Um, Ariella, 34, said she was overweight for a very long time and she got surgery. She got into a gym. She wanted to be healthy so she could stick around for her daughter. And she said the dude she was with got insecure and jealous about how she looked now. So he cheated on her with who she says now is her ex friend. She also has a daughter. Um, but she talks more than the dudes in her pods. Every time they show her to us, it's like she is talking, 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 talking. And I'm hoping it's just editing. I'm hoping that she is not talking that much. But hey, if they like it, I love it. We have Alexandre. He is 34. He has a 2 year old kid. Then we have Evandro, 35. He has two daughters, 8 and 6. And he said he believes in old school courting with flowers at dinner. And we'll see how Evandro works out. He said, oh, Alexander stuck his foot in his mouth that first day. He did not realize that the door wasn't fully closed when he left his pod. And he said, he liked one girl, but she sounded fat. Unfortunately, the way we're being told is that Ariella, who was overweight and had the surgery, she's the person who heard him say that. The way they framed it. That did not go over well in the ladies' lounge, to say the least. Then we have Andre, who's 30. He has an autistic daughter. He is loyal, easygoing, and has been single for 3 years. Now, it, Andre and Marcia seem to be paired up early on in the whole production of it all. Um, he has a very heartfelt story of his father had addictions and his mother passed from cancer. He tried to, have a connection with his father, but his grandparents prevented that connection. And his father was not even there um, when his mother passed away. And because he was taking care of his mother and not going to work, he lost his job, which caused him to lose his car, and then at the same time lose his mother. And he did not have his father for support. It is a very, very heart wrenching story. And Marcia was able to sit there and talk with him and go through it. So they linked on kids, Andre and Marcia, because they both have autistic children. She has an autistic son, and I believe he has a daughter. They say they like to cuddle, listen to jazz. She likes to take care of folks, and he just misses having a partner. For them, I cannot say it's trauma bonding at all because Marcia has not shared her vitiligo with him. But I wonder if the feeling of being alone is what they are bonding on. Marcia did say that her dad was not happy when she was pregnant without a husband, but he has turned around and certainly been a supportive father to her. But there's just something about them that's not ringing true for me. Then we have Alexandre and Ariella had a pod meeting, and he didn't die saying that about the person sounded fat. He's like, I don't recall, I don't remember, I don't know what you're talking about. Um, and he said he was like 15 drinks in. Um, Alexandre, really? 15 drinks? And of course you can't remember anything, but you're here to meet the love of your life and you're drinking 15 drinks in a day? I'm sorry. That just does not compute for me. How do you even remember the conversations? Or are you just sticking by your notes? Because that's what it sounds like to me. But Ariella was triggered because also Alexandre couldn't remember her name. It was Ariel, Marielle, and she keeps saying, it's Ariella. And he keeps like disregarding it. I'm hoping production did that. Then Ariella had a meeting with Evandro. I think that's how you say it. Evandro. His word for himself is that he is a fighter. He feels, how can I say it? He said he feels weak around his mom and the women in his life, and he caters to them. And I just didn't understand. Does he feel weak, or does he feel that it's a blessing to cater to the women in his life? I just can't get a read on Evandro right now. Her word for herself is energetic, because she is absolutely energetic. As I said before, she just talk. She just talk. And I was like, okay, I hope that this is editing and the gentlemen are getting a word in edgewise. Evandro, that was his name. Let me get it together. So then, day 3, Evandro and Ariella do meet up again. She says she lives with her parents who've been married for 30 years. Evandro did say that his ex-wife is the mother of his 2 daughters, and they do what's on the books. They were married for 7 years. The divorce was hard. And when he said, we do what's on the books, it seems like everything had to be written down. And it sounded like I've got to either make you be a parent or make you uphold the agreement of being a parent. It just sounded like we don't have a very good civil relationship. That's what it sounded like to me. It may not be the case, but I was like, we do what's on the books. So what happens to what's off the books? What happens to that, Evandro? I have questions. I have questions. Then he describes his ideal date with Ariella. Marcia and Andre have another date, which he comes out and tells her that he is not a rich man. He is from simple means. He told her the loss of his job, his mother, his car, that he is building back his life. She commiserates and say, hey, my family is not a rich family. We know about hard work. We know about working together to build something. Okay? Where he shares the entire ordeal with his dad and the relationship with his dad and the loss of his mother. So it can't be trauma bonding at this point. I'm not going to say that, but they are certainly bonding on the fact that we have similar upbringings. Though she's never been married, so she never had a divorce and she has not lost her parents. But for some reason, there's something there I can't quite put my finger on. So then we go to day 4. Ariella and Evandro are, hot item. She says her family is definitely different and high strung. And, he says that she's always on his mind. Now, different and high strung, I gotta say that we have seen preliminary of that with Ariella because she is definitely the talker between them. Okay. They talked about how they've been through so much and she is helping him be better. I don't like those words. I don't like those words. Because it's telling me that I need you to be better. I'm not being better for myself or because I need to be, but we'll just file that away. Then we have Patrick, 32, new kids. 5 months ago, he was dumped. She went to another country. They were together 7 years, and she got pregnant by another individual. But he loves relationships. He loves, he said, not me, short, annoying, and feisty women. I don't know what he defines as short, annoying, and feisty, but he wants 2 kids. He said that these women live in a bubble. And I'm like, Patrick, are you trying to either burst their bubble, Patrick? Or are you trying to keep them in a bubble so you are all they have? Patrick, I have questions. He loves a challenge. And he said his dog has ended his relationships before because she shares the bed with him and she is his constant companion. Patrick, we have heard this before in dating shows where a man's dog comes in the middle of a relationship. Now, there has to be boundaries. There has to be boundaries where your dog does not completely take over the bed, where you are to have your lady with you. But we do understand if the dog does not like the young lady, that is something for you to think about. So Patrick and Mariella talk. Mariella is 37. She has no kids. And it seems like she and Patrick live in the same town, which was fascinating to Patrick. Patrick also says, I don't have any notes. I just write their name, their age, and what do they do, and maybe where they're from. And that's it. He's not writing notes about the conversation. He's just going with the flow. Okay, Patrick. Okay. I want everybody to file that away for later. So we have Renata, who's 33. She's also talking to Patrick. She is like not too far from Patrick's town, but in the same vicinity with the way they're saying, you know, saying things. She's always dreamt of her wedding day. Her parents have been married a long time. And she told Patrick to put several hearts by her name so that they can have another date. So Andre, who I said before was talking to Marcia, who has vitiligo, he's dealing with not wanting to be hurt. He talks to this other young man. I think his name was Gudo. And Gudo told him, which I thought was quite profound. Gudo said, the past will always be a trigger, but if you feed into it, you will not take the chance. And in the end, it will be on your tombstone, Andre, what if? I'm just paraphrasing, but that was very, very poignant because you came here to find love. You came here to find someone to live your life with. You came here to find, someone new to continue your journey with. So if you're not going to take the chance, why are you here, Andre? Why are you here? I mean, why are you wasting time and space? Okay. So Marcia and Andre have a date where he tells her he does not feel ready. He feels very insecure. He doesn't understand why. And can she please forgive him? Marcia said she cannot forgive him. She's laid her heart out on the line. She laid her feelings out there, and she just cannot forgive him. I understand, Marcia. We have been talking now, what is it? 4 days in? 4 days of constant talking. They spend hours in those pods. I've shared a ton with you. I have received a ton from you. And now coming down to the end, you don't want to do this anymore? It's like, come on now. Why are you here? Why even come here if you're not ready to go through with the whole process? It's like the folks who make it all the way and don't want to go to the altar to make their final decision. This is what you signed up for. But if you were not ready, then don't come here saying you are ready for a young lady to put their heart in your hand. It goes for a young lady too. Don't come here wasting another young man's time. I'm sure casting had tons of other people that could have been here instead of you. Tons of other people. So there is no reason for you to be here if you were not ready. Now you could have just lost someone great. But I think he said, oh, I'd like to see you outside of all of this. I wonder if the cameras and all of that pressure got to him. But Marcia said, I cannot forgive you. She's hurt. I mean, justifiably, it's like, oh my gosh, I've been spending all this time with you when I could have been spending time with someone else. I tuned in on you, and you tuned in or zoomed in on me. And now coming down to the stretch of having to make a decision, you backpedaling. Oh no, I can't forgive you. I mean, come on now. Really? Really? You expect me to forgive you? Well, Evandro and Ariella have a conversation. So he says that he said the L word. He said the L word. Then told her to check in her box. Now, the way this show, I like it. I like it a lot. The way this show provides gifts to from one contestant to another is there is a box or a chest in the room, and your gift is in there. So the other contestant will tell you, like Evandro told Ariella, go check in your box. I left you a gift. The gift was a bouquet of hydrangeas. Evandro said hydrangeas represent a new beginning, and he would like this new beginning to start with a proposal, to which she said yes. Very enthusiastically said yes. I thought that was quite cute. I thought it was very sweet. I did not know hydrangeas meant new beginnings. I guess because they're kind of a spring flower, but I'll have to look that up. So now we have the meeting between Evandro and Ariella. I was quite apprehensive about their meeting. I will tell you that Evandro is a very, very handsome, melanated, bearded brother. And Ariella is of a lighter hue. And I did not know how well that would go over, but let's just say the universe had them wear the same color. When the sliding doors open, they were wearing the same colors. They did not run to each other, but walked very quickly and immediately kissed. But he did seem a little hesitant, and I don't know if it's hesitant um, because of his impression of how she looked, or if he was just being gentlemanly hesitant. I'm not sure about that. But he says, hey, wonderful, you are beautiful, you are, you know, you are everything. I did not try to imagine you because I wanted to be surprised. Now, here's the thing that kind of got me a little thrown for the loop. They both had rings. They both had rings, and their rings are worn on their right hand. Same finger that you would wear in your left hand for a wedding ring, but it is the right hand, the finger closest to your little finger. Upon further research, apparently, um, it states that in Brazil, couples who are serious and committed to each other will wear rings on their right hand. It means they're committed. It doesn't necessarily mean they will get married, but it is a showcase to the world that you are in a committed relationship. So it's a promise ring of sorts, a promise to stay committed or be committed in the relationship, which is quite interesting. I like it. I like it a little bit. I like it a little bit. Hmm. I wonder how well that will go over here in the States. But I digress. Um, he was a gentleman. He walked her back to her sliding door. Um, and then he went to his room where he promptly had to put a pillow on his lap. So, there are only a few reasons why gentlemen need to put a pillow on their lap to cover anything, but I'll let you think about that. Next we have Patrick. As I said, Patrick said he don't take notes. He has an age, job, name, and whatever he needs to know, he remembers. Patrick sounds like a player. Player. Patrick sounds like a complete player. So Patrick has two connections, Renata and Mariella or Marilia. I have to get the saying, no disrespect, I have to get the saying of the names correctly. So Patrick, because he's not taking notes, because he's also drinking heavily, multiple drinks for the day, he is confusing Renata and Marilia because one lady lives in his town and one lady lives close to his town, and he confused them. Renata talks a lot. She says she has an expensive lifestyle, which Patrick says, hey, I have 3 cars. What do you want? He says that I have a condo here. I have a house here. She says the same. I have 2 properties. Hey, we seem to be getting along. But Patrick seems like a player in my head. He's very playful, but it still screams player with the fact that he doesn't need to take notes, and what he needs to know, he'll remember. So she says that if he's lying about how much he likes her, she will sue him. Renata is a lawyer. Renata is a lawyer. Even in the ladies' lounge, Renata is like, why are y'all saying y'all falling in love in 2-3 days? Are y'all kidding? Renata is a very headstrong lawyer personality. You could see it. So Marilia comes back from her date with Patrick and is, very giddy and very, happy about how things are going. And she's telling Marilia that, hey, you should back off of Patrick since I'm telling you, Patrick fancies me. You should just back off. And the way editing said, played it is like Renata said she wanted to slap Marilia, but I don't think so. I think it was hastily put together. I think it was the English translation. So, episode 2 starts with Patrick talking to Marilia. Because Marilia is like, if Patrick chose Renata, I need him to tell me. He needs to tell me what this is. Patrick says he got them mixed up. He was drinking so much, he actually thought they were both the same person, that it wasn't 2 separate people. And of course, Patrick, because he wasn't taking notes. Come on now. Come on. Anyway, a true player wouldn't mix it up. They would actually know based on their voices and even their professions. So he said he wants to be honest and open to Marilia. And he's talking to the guys and saying, hey, I messed up. Oh my God, I messed up. And the one I really want, I need to get her to forgive me, but I got to tell her that I made a mistake, that I told Renata I wanted her when that was not the case. And I'm like, ooh, Patrick. Patrick. Maybe you need to lay off the drinking a little bit, okay? So we are next introduced to Ingrid, who is 34. She got out of a toxic, cheating relationship. She became a mother at 19. She has 2 daughters, 14 and 21. And she wants a wedding. She wants the life of, being a bride. That is the last thing missing from her life. She is with Leandro, who is 32. Remember, Ingrid is 34. So Leandro says he is divorced 4 months ago. He wants a Black woman. He wants kids. And they shared their religious beliefs. Now, Leandro said he likes his family, but he also likes his alone time. He values being alone, being able to go do what he wants to do and not be bothered. For Ingrid, she said that scares her because what are you doing when you're off alone? Are you still committed to the relationship or are you playing around? People who need alone time, sometimes get themselves into trouble when they're alone and they're not quite lonely. So he does say he has moments of sensitivity, and his sister told him he needs to speak up in his relationships. He needs to speak up and say what he wants. So Ingrid is kind of like, is he just going to accept stuff and not, share his thoughts and feelings. So we'll put a pause in that one. So Playful Patrick, sorry. Patrick is always wearing a baseball cap and a lovely sweater. I have to say, Patrick, your sweaters are awesome. I like every single one of them that you were wearing in the pods and outside the pods, Patrick. You have some style, but you're playful. You're a playful player. So Patrick and Marilia, they vibe on many things. He, I guess, got forgiven for mixing her up with Renata, shares that he wants kids, and they just have a wonderful date together. Kind of like Renata Who. Then we have, as I said, Patrick is dating Mariella and Renata, which he confused the ladies. So we have another threefer. We have Vanessa, who's 34 and a lawyer. These lawyers are finding themselves in these triangles. She enjoys hiking. She is a devout Catholic. She has to decide eventually between Leo, 34, who's also a lawyer. He believes in living life free, live life to the fullest, and he enjoys CrossFit when he's not being a lawyer. Then she has Rodrigo, 40. He says he is religious. He wants to fall in love. Love has to be free. He thinks he will be a great dad, and he also enjoys hiking. They kind of bonded on the hiking. They bonded on their the stuff that they do outside of their work. So she had great conversations with him, but he wasn't a lawyer. I forgot what his Rodrigo's job was. I think it was interesting. Oh, he's a marketing manager. That's what it was. He was a marketing manager and he's also a marketing professor. So they do have the intellectual connection, but he's not a lawyer. So Vanessa has a decision to make. So Patrick decides he needs to let Renata go and let her know he was confused and it was a mistake to say she was his girlfriend. So she came in mad because she already knew from Marilia that, Patrick had said he made a mistake. So she came in mad and he stuck to his guns. He said he stuck to his convictions and said he felt closer to the other lady. And he wished Marilia, he wished, Marilia to be for his wife and be his future. And he's talking to Renata saying, hey, I wish you the best of luck, but I'm going with Marilia. But Patrick said he felt that Renata was trying to trip him up, trying to confuse him, trying to make him feel regretful of his decision. Because Renata's a very confident woman. Renata was all in on, I am not beautiful, but I'm a catch. I'm a lawyer. I'm successful. My daddy treats me like a princess. I am, worth being on anybody's arm. And he felt like she was using her lawyer convictions against him. So he was like, that kind of was odd. So, and he felt like he escaped because she tried to tongue tie him. So Renata was also dating Alexandre. Should I call him Alexandre or Alexander? I'm not sure. Alexandre. is his name. He is 34. He is the owner of an events production company. He is the one that Ariella previously said he made the joke about an overweight. Somebody sounded overweight. But Renata and Alexandre apparently were hitting it off at the same time she was with Patrick. Andre was married for 3 years. He's been divorced 9 months. He's chill. He says, everybody says you're preppy. She's like, I'm not preppy. I'm not preppy. I'm just particular. You're preppy. And she kind of pumped the brakes when he said he's never traveled abroad. He's never traveled outside of Brazil. And I wonder, and y'all could put it down in the chat, would you be concerned too? This is a man who owns his own production company. He is successful in his own right, but he is constantly working, and he has not left the country. Now, Renata has been a lot of places. She has traveled. She and Patrick also bonded on the fact that they have traveled internationally. Patrick said he worked in Portugal for a couple of years. He also lived in Italy. I think he said Greece too. So he's experienced a lot of travel and life abroad. But Alexandre has said no, he has not traveled abroad. And she kind of, you saw it in her face. She's like, oh. So I wonder if you could say it in the chat. Does the gentleman have to have a passport, and does he have to have traveled abroad? I'll tell you, story time. I'll tell you mine. My current husband, which is my second husband, never traveled outside of the country. He never even had a passport. We traveled a lot of places in the US, and I'm like, we got to travel abroad. That's my life. Caribbean, cruising, I've been to several states. Probably, if I counted out, probably 30 something of the 50 states and several territories. But I have been from Venezuela. I was born in Trinidad, so definitely there, Trinidad, Tobago. Cruises have taken me to multiple islands. So I have traveled before I met him. And so he got his passport. We were going on we went on a cruise together. We did, and he enjoyed that. We were going on our second cruise, European cruise, when COVID hit. But since then, we have gone and traveled to Europe. That's the next continent I wish to explore. We've been to Portugal. I have been to Spain. He enjoys the travel. We just came back from Costa Rica. Information about that trip will be coming. And he is enjoying and learning about travel. And I have no problem enjoying and seeing it through his, I would say, new eyes. So there's certain travel things that is customary to me that for him is like, why? And sometimes it's great to have someone who asks the question, why, to things that we think are automatic. So for me, it's not really a deal breaker at all. I was perfectly fine marrying someone who had not traveled abroad. So it will be interesting to see how Renata handles this with Alexandre. Then we have Ingrid and Leandro. So he says he's only had 3 relationships and thus 1 marriage, 4 months since his divorce, and she makes him want to open up more. He says he's being more expressive, like his sister advised, more expressive to her. And I'm like, is this your natural state to be expressive? Are you making changes for you? Or are you trying to make changes for Ingrid? Ingrid, just as a side note, your hair is fabulous. Oh my God. Ingrid's hair, her crochet locks are fabulous on this show. Oh my God, Ingrid. Love it. Um, I may have to come to Brazil. Renata and Alexandre, they are, she wants to ask him about more intimate details of their life. And he said that he'd rather keep that private. He doesn't want that his future wife's preferences, likes and dislikes, are recorded and, kept and can be shown on international television, which she respected. So Patrick and Marilia have a date. Marilia is mad that he took so long to break up with Renata. That's kind of sounding like Love is Blind US version. When somebody was breaking up, I think, was it Izzy breaking up with Johnny? And they're like, why is it taking so long? Yeah, Stacy was like, why is it taking so long? Just cut the cord and send her on her way. But Marilia was mad at Patrick. Taking too long. Just tell her you're done and you're with me. So he says he really brushes that over. He said I don't want to hurt anybody, and it's difficult to hurt someone. So he says he just loves how, she, says, how are you doing? How are you today? He just loves those simple things about her. Now, she says something very concerning to me in this date. She said she's the type of woman that she learns to crochet because her man said he wants a crochet hat. Okay, Marilia. So he wants a crochet hat, and instead of going to the store like I would and just buy a hat for him, you will learn to crochet to make him that hat. Quite exemplary. I applaud you for how far you're willing to go. But it screams to me that you do a little too much. Little too much. Because you could start off with buying him a hat and eventually learn. But to go off the bat like, oh, he wants a hat, I need to learn so I can get him a hat. Well, maybe I'm just not putting in enough effort. Am I not putting in effort? Are we just not putting in enough effort into relationships? Y'all tell me, because I'm like, I'm not learning to crochet just to make you a hat. I put in all that time and hours. I'll go to the store. I may find a crocheter to crochet what I want for you. But daggone it, girl. But Patrick proposes, and Mariela says yes. And what I love about Love is Blind Brazil is that it doesn't jump couple. As soon as he proposes, we go straight. The next scene is them meeting each other. Again, I was concerned because Patrick is kind of playa. Patrick did wear a suit though. He wore I wouldn't call it plaid, but it had the box style. Patrick wasn't wearing his sweaters, but he was wearing a very lovely suit. I couldn't tell. It was one of those in the light. Is it green? Is it brown? But he cleaned up very well. She ran, and he says, "You are so beautiful," when they hugged. And they were, when I tell you, making out on the stage. She was like, we're about to embarrass ourselves. We're about to embarrass ourselves. Making all the way out. He still had his cap on, that he still had the cap on for the proposal. Patrick to be staying wearing these hats. And we're going to find out why in the future episodes. So we now have two couples. We have two couples that have made a decision. We have Ariella and Evandro, and we have Patrick and Mariella. Two couples. So Renata and Alexandre are having a conversation. where she's like, if he is how she pictures him, she will, of course, love him. She keeps saying it over and over. If you're exactly as I picture you, it won't be hard to love you. I'll love you already. If you're exactly as you are in my mind, and Alexandre is put off by that. He gets testy. He's like, you on the wrong show. If you're about looks, you are on the wrong show. Told her she is too cocky and need to get over herself. No, that was me. I added, get over herself. He's like, you're too cocky. Calm down, baby girl. If you're about looks, this is not the place for you. And I understand Alexandre. He is not a bad looking man. He is aesthetically handsome. He's not my type, but he's aesthetically handsome. And the thing is, if I'm not exactly as you see me in your mind, you're going to break up with me. How am I supposed to feel about that when we meet? So he was like, you need to basically check yourself before you wreck yourself. He was mad. And then Renata kind of understood what she said and saw him slipping through her fingers because he left. He was like, I can't do this. I can't talk to you right now because you tripping, baby girl. You tripping. So remember, I told you Vanessa has a choice to make between Leo and Rodrigo. So Vanessa talked religion with Leo. Leo is the gentleman that's also a lawyer. She said she was jealous in one relationship because he asked her if she behaves jealous. She's like, only in one relationship. And she said he did stuff that was, ambiguous that made her have jealous thoughts and tendencies. Vanessa and Rodrigo. Rodrigo is the marketing professional and the marketing professor. Said he does music, and they were quite intrigued as to the music that they both liked. So they pan to Renata and Alexandre having another date. Now the ladies are like, Renata constantly talking about looks, and they are sure that is why she's having a problem with Alexandre. So she knows she has to basically pull Alexandre back into her web. It starts off with Alexandre apologizing. Alexandre apologizes. He says he was wrong for going off as he did. He wasn't completely disrespectful, but he was really short and sharp with her. He said, I was wrong. I am now open to hear you and understand you. I'm open to your apology, basically telling her, baby girl, you need to apologize here. And he apologized if he made her feel any kind of way. She's the one insulting him, but he's the one who came in first apologizing. And he tells her, go into her box in her room. He gave her a gift. He gave her a certain stone that represents, I think it was openness and forgiveness. It was a stone that meant something very much to her. She gave him beads and also incorporated one of her undergarments in the box, the upper half undergarment in the box. And of course, it had her perfume, which he was enthralled by. Okay. So Renata asked, I guess there's a DJ in the pod because they can ask for certain music selections to be played. And she asked for a song in their pod. Turns out this song is the same song that Amarelia had played for Patrick. Did you hear me? Renata, who was a romantic rival, she was a romantic rival of Marilia with Patrick. She chose the same song for Alexandre that Marilia chose for Patrick. Let's just say the ladies' lounge is going to be quite interesting because this is the end of episode 2. What do y'all think about that? What do you think about using the same song for your new guy as the other girl used for your old guy? And how is the ladies' lounge going to go when Marilia realizes that Renata took the same song? We're going to figure this out because, everybody, ain't that great of a friend. But Renata says she and Marilia are friends and close, but the little back and forth about Patrick was quite interesting. Well, guys, that is the first 2 episodes of Love is Blind Brazil with me, El Cid. I hope you have enjoyed this review and summary. The next 2 episodes, I'm hoping to drop maybe right after this. I'm feeling kind of energetic, but please like, share, subscribe to my channel, and just show me some support as we go through this life where we all try to find love and laughter. Thank you.